Wow. Who is this sitting next to me?
Hey, buddy. Good to see you again.
It's good to see you again, my friend. Welcome to Hoops and Homers, and welcome to Hoops and Homers to everyone who's listening, watching right now. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, the whole shebang. It's phenomenal. And Hoops and Homers has just gotten upgraded like tenfold with the addition of the guy sitting right next to me, Garrett Bridges. How's it going?
Good, man. How are you?
Good, man. We had our normal podcast for another podcast that I do a few weeks ago, but this is actually an interesting one because you love basketball. Baseball, I'm not sure if you're a big baseball guy.
That sport? Absolutely.
Is it really? Wow.
Well, before I got hurt.
No. Well, okay.
It's fine.
It happens. It happens. So, I mean, yeah, fair enough. I'm going to make sure everything's working the way it's supposed to here. Should be. Yeah, see, since I'm the tech guy on the show too, I had to check my audio, but it seems like everything's working. So nice, bro. Yeah, okay. Well, then you're going to have tons of fun being our new co-host. Welcome to the show. I love that. It's just going to be fun to have a conversation with someone instead of just monologuing to myself and talking to, I guess, whoever's listening at any point in time. But, dude, we got a full agenda to talk about today. And so I can't wait to dive right on into it because you love your sports. That's the one thing we haven't talked enough about recently. So this is just a podcast where we'll get to do that like full time. It's crazy. Let's do it. We got hooping. We got home running in today, I guess. Homering is how we'll call that. But today's hooping segment, dude, we got to talk about the last week in Nuggets basketball. Lots to talk about there. Rotational changes, people coming back from injury. We have some comparisons and predictions that we're going to make. And then we got to get into my Rockies, man. I can't wait for that segment. Don't know how many of these pods you've watched before. I'm a big Rockies guy. That's my favorite segment of the show.
Well, that makes one of you because, I mean, nobody cares about the Rockies at this point. So, I mean, proud of you.
Look, you will care about the Rockies after you hear what I have to say on this episode. And we're gonna need your feedback at that point too. So,
all right,
dude,
let's do it.
Can't wait to get to that segment. But we're going to start with our Nuggets. OKC, Detroit, New York, all in 1 week. Okay. It's like the top 3 teams in the league.
Test.
Yeah, besides us and the Spurs. And so lost all 3. It was a tough week. They competed in all of those games. If I go back and take a look at the results here, lost by 10 at home to OKC, lost by 3 to Detroit, lost by 7 in double overtime to the Knicks. Did you watch any of these games, like live or the highlights or something like that?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I did get bits and pieces of all of them. Was interested to see just how the rotation was going to still hold up with all the injuries throughout the year. And I think you're starting to – I wouldn't say you're necessarily seeing cracks, but against top teams, that's only going to work so much. I mean, you see where they played everybody, but you got 3 guys with just 3 minutes, Hunter Tyson, Zeke Naji, and Deron Holmes. Hunter Tyson's really never made the impact we were all hoping for him. And Jamal Murray didn't shoot well. So, I mean, there's limitations to what the bench can provide with all the injuries.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. Poor Hunter Tyson. He got shipped away at the trade deadline. Did you hear about that? Yesterday.
What do you mean by poor? I think that's I think this is a good thing for Denver.
He got shipped to the Nets, so unfortunate situation for him.
Well, MPJ could tell him it's going to be a lot of good shots for him.
Absolutely. Hopefully
Yeah.
so. We wish the best to Hunter Tyson after getting traded. But, bro, yeah, let's just dive right into these numbers because every week I build this comparison, right? For the players that played the past week, at least double-digit minutes. Okay, so last week there were 10 guys really in the rotation for this week of the 3 losses to these really good teams. Okay, you had Jamal, you had Peyton Watson, you had Jokic finally back and healthy. You had Christian Brown return, played 2 of those games. You had Tim Hardaway, you had Bruce Brown, Julian Strawther, Spencer Jones, Jonas Valanciunas, and Jalen Pickett. And this is actually where I'm going to show the screen here. We're going to hop on over to H&H HQ so people can take a look at what we're looking at. Statistically speaking, Jamal had a better week than he had the week before. Even though he shot from 3 27% on 10 attempts per game.
Not going to do it.
It's not going to do it. And here's the weird thing, too, is that he's usually good for about 5 or so attempts a game. And that's why he's shooting maybe 40-something% from 3 still at this point in the year. It's one of the reasons he's an all-star for the first time. But the volume just wasn't helpful. And when you look at Tim Hardaway's numbers, actually, too, you start to really see that this was not a good idea to give Jamal so many threes. Hardaway was 5 of 9 on average from 3 last week. This week it dropped to 1 of 4.
I remember talking about that in our last podcast. So eventually Tim Hardaway was going to shoot 20% for a month. And you laughed at me, like a nervous laugh. Not that you actually thought that was funny. You were kind of terrified. This is who he's been his entire career. Now, I think he's been awesome all year. Absolutely awesome. He's spot starting, great shooter. He's actually shown an ability to drive throughout the year. Shooters shoot. This is the problem with shooters shooting sometimes is they have bad weeks, bad months. And, if he wants to get all the misses out now before the playoffs, not a bad thing.
Yeah, I guess so. But look, that's not even really – I'm not even going to blame him for that because he was getting 9 threes a game last week. Then Joker came back, Christian Brown came back, and now the rotation is changing again because of all these injuries. And so it's just unfortunate that he didn't get as many attempts. Otherwise, I mean, he still missed 3 or 4 threes. So it's like they lost some of these games by literally 3 and 7 points. Like if he gets like 2 or 3 more attempts per game and makes probably 2 or so more, you could easily see them winning at least one of those games.
We're nitpicking. That's the truth, right? It's tough when the rotations are constantly changing, which has been this Nuggets team all year. You've seen that with a lot of teams that don't succeed is the ones that are always trying something new. Usually it's because they're tanking. That's not the Nuggets' problem this year. And we love how Murray's playing at the same time. It's a pace that he hasn't been at his entire career, at least during the regular season. So I would say exerting some caution could be really good for the rest of the team.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't want to wear guys out too much during the season, especially with Jamal finally having a really good season. The one concern that you have with that is that he's played so hard and he's had to do so much carrying with all these injuries. He's somehow been the healthiest Nugget pretty much.
And he's usually made of glass. That's kind of scary, isn't it?
It's kind of terrifying. But I mean, usually the theme with him is that he plays all right during the regular season, and then the postseason he gets really good. Mm-hmm. This year he's playing really good throughout, and so it'll be the first time he's really tested to see if he can keep up that level of production throughout the postseason instead of just showing up in the postseason. But Peyton Watson, man, okay, Peyton Watson had a better week this week too than the last week. Last week he kind of had his first down week in a while, but this week he kind of bounced back against really caliber teams. Mm-hmm. He got hurt in the Knicks game. He's going to be out for at least a few weeks, which is unfortunate. But I don't know. What do you think of P-Watt, man? He's kind of surprising some people.
Well, I would say always a tantalizing talent, right? Didn't play a ton at UCLA. I think everybody that realized and knew about Watson when he was drafted was like, this could be a real big steal. And he's shown most of this his entire career, except he can never make a shot consistently. If he can make a 3, that's a different player. And he's a special athlete. He's a special defender. You've even seen a little bit of a passing game that probably never saw before. I've been really impressed, no doubt about it.
Yeah. And I mean, it really has been the shot for him. And to see him this year shooting high 30s from 3 and some weeks even 40% from 3 is absolutely crazy. And so it's really cool to see that he's not just doing that from the 3-point line. It's not like that's been his only area of improvement. There have been some weeks, the last few weeks, where most of his shots come less than 10 feet from the hoop. Some weeks, most of them are coming from pull-ups or threes. And so the fact that he's got such a diverse game now is really not something I think we expected. It's actually been a really nice breath of fresh air for the team.
And it's something they needed without Gordon, right? Totally needed. He's filled in basically every single part of what you asked for from Gordon, with the lobs, with the defense, playing a little bit of 5 so you give Jokic a break on defense. Again, special talent.
Yeah, incredible, man. Hopefully we can retain him this offseason. And
that is the wonder, right? Because, I mean, you wonder if he's pricing himself out of coming back here.
Yeah, well, maybe they could move some stuff around. I don't know if Cam Johnson comes back next year. And so, especially if you have to choose between giving 20-something million to Cam or 20-something million to P-Watt, you might want to just make the decision to keep P-Watt and find a way to move off of Cam somehow. But the Nuggets don't really have picks. So unless Cam plays better once he comes back from injury, that'll be a tough move to make. Joker's back. Also, there you go. He had, I have the arrow here on the screen showing he had a worse week than he did last week. He played 1 game last week, and it was a really good game. So I wouldn't read into that too much. But, I mean, you take a look at his stats from his first full week back, even though it was against really high-quality teams. 23 points, That's about 12 rebounds and then 7 assists. That's almost a triple-double. 46% from the field, so a little bit lower than we're used to seeing him shoot. Also 25% from three. But how do you think he's going to factor in here the next few weeks while the Nuggets continue to get healthy now that he's healthy again?
He's Jokic, man. This is the worst he could possibly play. And he had 30, 14, and 10 against New York.
There you go.
I don't have a lot to share. I mean, he's such a special it's weird to say athlete because he looks like me. But at the same time, like he just diced up everybody. He's the most well-conditioned athlete every single game. And yeah, man, I just think it's just like I was saying with the rotation thing. Everybody's gonna get used to playing with him again. It's less Watson on the ball, it's less Murray on the ball, which is good for those guys. Jokic is a special guy. It's only gonna go up from here. I mean, they couldn't have had a harder week, opponent wise. So
yeah, literally, bro. And so you see that here with Joker playing so well relative to the team again. He's kind of right back where he jumped in. Then, I mean, we already talked about Hardaway. You got some of the other role players in here too with Christian Brown, Bruce Brown, Julian Strawther, surprisingly, had a good week. He had a decent week 3 weeks ago, the week that they played the Bucks, especially that game. Really carried in that game off the bench somehow, unexpectedly. Had a down week last week. This week he bounced back. It's kind of weird for him. Strawther's guard, he's typically known for his three-point shooting. Okay. The last few weeks, he's been taking most of his shots from 2-point range. But this week, he finally got back into that rhythm, taking most of his shots from 3. Is that something that you think he should continue to keep up with? Because that's generally what he's been known for? Or do you kind of like seeing that little floater on a game-to-game basis?
Absolutely got to keep the defense honest. We know his scouting report on him is as a marksman. But if teams are going to guard him that way, so if he doesn't keep him honest, it's pretty easy to guard his 3. He's not a guy that's going to move a ton, at least in the way that he's been used this year. I mean, he was very good in the playoffs in a few games against OKC. I'd still like to see him play more. But as of right now, absolutely use that tier. Keep that in your arsenal. It's just going to help keep the defense honest at that point.
Yeah, especially with the fast breaks too. He's a great fast break finisher, which is not something I expected. And so that's kind of why you keep I don't know if I've told you my big picture take on the Nuggets sort of the next few seasons and this season. So that might be kind of fun just to zoom out a little bit so you understand the way I'm kind of looking at these guys. I think the next 2 years, so this year being one of them and then next year, are the 2 greatest years that the Nuggets have an opportunity to win the championship while Jokic is in his prime. Okay, you have an Eastern Conference that's missing guys like Tatum. Giannis is on a bad Bucks team. Okay, and then
Still,
yeah, unfortunately. Well, fortunately for us, right? Because he's not going to potentially move to a contender this season. That said, all the stars are kind of aligning here. Some of the good teams in both conferences are young, playoff inexperienced, and so the Nuggets, when healthy this season, were a top 5 offensive and defensive team. My prediction at the beginning of this year was that this team will win the championship this season if they stay healthy. So that's kind of my broad hot take in a sense. I really think they're built for it. They kind of showed it the first few weeks of the season, and then they just got hit with the worst injury crisis that they've had in literally years. But kind of interested to see what you think of that broad take before we talk about some of these last role players from this week.
So funny enough, this is actually something we also touched on in the last pod we did, because I am somebody who, I mean, I didn't just go to school then, but I am a faithful believer in who Michael Porter Jr. is as a player. Off court, maybe not. But just a guy that brings shooting, does actually bring occasional defense, and was a very good rebounder on that team that won the title. Your counterpoint was really good, though. Is now they finally have depth for the first time in 5 years since the COVID team, probably.
Yeah.
So like, you trade playoff shooting and a more size for a deeper team and a team that is more prepared for injuries than last year's team. So yes, they've gotten injured. Yes, they're still title contenders. At the same time, who of these guys on the bench do you trust at shots in the playoffs? Because that's really going to decide whether they win or not.
Yeah, this is true. I mean, you look through the 10 that they have right now, or even if you think about the healthy lineup, right? It's Jamal, Christian Brown, maybe Peyton Watson once everyone's healthy, starting at the 3. Then you got AG and you got Jokic. Then off the bench, you would have Bruce Brown, Tim Hardaway, Cam Johnson, Spencer Jones, Jonas Valanciunas.
Probably Pickett gets minutes. You got to play a point guard somewhere in there, right?
You know, they've kind of been running Bruce at the point, which is all right with certain staggered groups. If Jamal or Joker is staggering with the bench unit, then they can get away with not using a point guard. And so at that point, I think that Hardaway becomes my main scorer aside from Jamal and Joker. And I think that might create some looks for P-Watt if all of the pressure gets sucked into Jokic. You're not going to be able to triple Jokic in the playoffs if Watson and
actually he
Hardaway
would love it if you tripled him.
Yes. Well, exactly.
Yeah.
He would. Yeah.
That'd be 6 layups. Just nobody guarding him
Mm-hmm.
for sure. Yeah, we're interested to see kind of where this goes. Spencer Jones has been a big surprise. I'll tell you what, I don't think Bruce Brown's the same guy he was 3 years ago, but they also don't need him to be. So I'm interested to see kind of where it all goes. I'll tell you what, I think Jalen Pickett's been really good when he plays. I don't see why you don't just give him 7 minutes here and there.
Well, okay, so here's the thing with Pickett. I actually like Pickett a lot now. But the thing with Pickett is that over the last few weeks, he's kind of been on the down. So he had a really good week 2 weeks ago. The week after that, he started slipping a little bit with the performance, even though he had similar minutes. The week after that, he got fewer minutes and pretty similar production. This last 2 weeks ago, he was not good. he was not good. Played 15 minutes. He got even fewer minutes because he wasn't playing good. And then this week, he played the fewest minutes of everyone who played consistently in the rotation. So it feels like they're kind of phasing him out as people get healthy, and he's kind of really only in there to provide that point guard presence when the team needs it, when Joker's not out there or when Jamal needs a break.
Counter. Who has 29, 5, and 7? Anybody else on the team other than Murray, Watson, maybe Gordon and Jokic?
That's true.
He scored 29, 7-11 from 3 against Philly. Literally single-handedly went into Philly and helped them win.
Dude, and after that game, what I was saying is that not necessarily even after that game, after that week, he needs more looks from 3. So that's the main issue with him, is that they don't use him properly when everyone's healthy. He's not taking as many threes, and he's not shooting them as well because he's not getting those catch and shoot threes that are most of his 3-point contributions. And so I'm right there with you that he should be playing more. That he just doesn't fit with whatever Adelman is trying to concoct with this current injured rotation.
It's fair enough. I'm confident they'll need him at some point, round 1 or round 2. Confident.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, they will. And hopefully he shows up when they need him to, because I think as that veteran, it feels like a veteran because that was kind of the purpose he was drafted for out of college. I think he was a 4-year college guy from Penn State. Yeah. And they drafted him for that reason, so that in the playoffs, if they needed some depth, the guy like him, Strother, Tyson could come off the bench, having been more college experienced, and give them some more than some of the younger guys would. So hopefully he can do that if they need him to.
Do you know how good you have to be to help Penn State be good at basketball?
No, actually, I don't. I didn't know.
We'll have you do research before the next pod. It is loud.
Oh man, that bad?
Yeah. I mean, I think that they're having a decent year. Let me look it up real quick. And I think that they are literally like 12 and 14 or something. It's
kind of wild.
Not good. Not good.
Mm-hmm.
They are loudly 10 and 13.
Nice, bro.
Yeah. So
Pickett's actually legit. That's what I'm hearing.
He's a stud.
He
gets a chance. I think it brings me to another point. Everybody likes him, I think, when they see him out there. He also had a serious injury last year and is still rehabbing. Do we trust Deron Holmes to play at all in the playoffs?
No. This is something I've talked about the last few weeks.
We want to. I think we all want him to.
Mm-hmm. Yes, for sure. But the issue with Deron Holmes is that he's playing too small for his position. And so now, to be fair, he got regular minutes during the weeks where he needed to play 5, and he's absolutely not a 5. At what is he? He's 6'9", 225, not a 5. Mm-hmm. So it makes sense that he got bullied there. But kind of like Strother, he's been found in these circumstances where he's taking more shots from a position that is more suited for a guard.
But if he can't move, he can't play 4 either, even in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm. He's just got to get his legs.
Because he's taking most of his shots from 3s when he plays.
Yeah. And I think that was a skill you actually saw in Summer League in that first game. And then a lot of things ripped. And I think we want to see him do well, but it feels like he's not ready this year. Maybe not even next year. That's where we're at with him.
I think especially this year. Next year, maybe we'll see how the back.
I think you'd want him to be there.
Looks.
You want him, yeah.
Well, it just depends on what they want out of the 4 position, right? Because
Valanciunas might get his way and end up going and playing in, what was it, Russia or whatever he was going to go do it. Yeah, that was one of the funniest storylines. Unbiased take for all you Nuggets fans, you can objectively say that was pretty funny.
That was pretty funny. Thankfully we got him, and that's
funny now, right? Yeah,
it is funny now that he's actually decided to play for us. Yeah, yes, no doubt, and he's been really good. And so that's actually my last question. Between him, Bruce Brown, and Spencer Jones, which of those 3 role players are you most excited about down the stretch / into the playoffs?
Yeah, I think I kind of said it earlier. Spencer Jones is an elite defender. You have to play him. Man, that shot is foul, but he's locking people up.
And he's shooting 40-something% from 3.
No, it goes in. Well, who am I to complain?
I don't know. If you watched the Charlotte Hornets game or even the highlights on YouTube afterwards, he makes a 3 in like the second quarter, and Eric Collins is like the
best.
He's the best, man. He's the best play-by-play announcer in the league.
Yeah.
Spencer Jones took a 3, and like Collins' response was like, "Oh my goodness."
Like what he did for Bismack Biyombo.
Right. Yeah. And so, it's funky, but it works. He did it again in the second half, and it went in again. He was like, oh my gosh, it's a funky looking shot. And so if you can get Eric Collins to comment on your shot, but it still goes in, I think that's like a win-win, man.
Yeah, he's got Del Curry next to him. I feel like he has a perspective.
For multiple reasons.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, that's crazy. Okay. Yeah, Spencer Jones is exciting. Good to see some more productivity from Valanciunas since coming back, kind of working off that minutes restriction.
Don't get it twisted. If Bruce Brown dunks on somebody, I am going to stand up out of my couch.
Dude, we've been missing the Bruce dunks this year.
Because he's older.
Because he's 28. It's the injuries, though.
Well, also remember, he played small ball 5 for that Brooklyn team and took way more punches than anybody that guy would usually. That wasn't worded well. I think anybody that's at that size trying to play the 5, he's taking a bunch more punches, a bunch more hits, a bunch more elbows. And he was awesome in Denver the 1 year he was here. But at the same time, awful in Indy, awful in Toronto. I think he's been good here. But relying on him as a 6 man against Lou Dort, who will literally, I'm not going to say that. We're on a podcast. Don't know if I'm
behind.
Yeah, no, I think you're on the right track with that one. I don't know how I feel about it. I'd like to be more reassured in this moment.
Yeah, I mean, he's also had the knee injuries, I think, the last few years too. Leg injuries, not necessarily just knee.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons he's not as explosive. But, I mean, you don't need him to be, like you said earlier. And so it's good to see that he's still fitting in from a rebounding and defense perspective. Despite that, I think this last week he actually even shot pretty decently from 3. Yeah, 40% from 3.
He's always going to get the best shots he can get playing next to Jokic. So there's always that.
Exactly. 65% from the field. So
that's pretty good.
That'll
work.
That will work for Bruce Brown in this role. Okay, dude. Now is time where we talk about this upcoming week. I think we've talked about just about everything else here so far. Well, let's talk about the Nuggets against the league first real quick. So against the league this last week, okay, obviously we've talked about the fact that they lost 3 games in a row. But as a collective, this is how they performed relative to the league averages this week. So league average offensive rating was about 115.6. Nuggets were 115.4. So they played league average offense this week. Their pace, slightly slower than league average. League average
working guys back.
Yes. Yeah. 99. And they played at 97. That's kind of been their theme, though, throughout the years, that they're not a team that is terribly fast paced.
No.
But it works. They had the highest offensive rating of all time for the first few months while they were decently healthy. So that's interesting. Offensive rebounds, they were league average with about 11.5. Turnovers, they were league average-ish. Assists, field goal percentage, threes made and attempted, they were all league average in all these categories this week. And they they shot just under league average from three at 34%. And so of those stats, I mean, it's easy to understand why they lost to the good teams that they lost to this week. You're not going to beat the top 3 or 4 teams in the league playing league average. And so of those statistics this upcoming week, I guess before we get to that, which of these stands out to you as something that needs to change for them this upcoming week, just in general, before we get to the teams they're playing?
I do think you want to keep pacing, and that's going to mean you still play a lot of guys. The reason I say that is you're not going to win playing slow-mo against a grinding out team like Detroit. Karl Anthony Towns, you want to run past him. It's not that hard. And an OKC team that wants to beat you up. Those are teams that, all 3 of those teams are 15 games over 500 or more. So league average is obviously not going to work there. But at the same time, you got to get creative. Scheme-wise, maybe try to pull the chair on SGA here and there when he's trying to flop or something like that. There's a lot of opportunities. However, I know you're getting to this soon. Easier week coming up.
Just a tad, some might say. It's really, really interesting. Well, actually, this is the point where I'm going to share the screen because I want everyone to see the predictions. We're going to do this. All right. Let me share this again. Okay. Upcoming week, we have 3 games. Then it's All-Star break. Okay. You and I are going to make some predictions.
I like it.
We're going to make some predictions. Okay. At Chicago, your team.
A team where my parents live, a team that had somehow the funniest trade deadline of all time this year. Did you see who they took?
Dude, they had like 9 guards on their roster.
I looked at that. I guess they traded some of them all away, where it's actually it's a fun team. Like they might start Anthony Simons, Jaden Ivey, and Josh Giddey together at one point. That is hilarious.
Josh Giddey at the 4.
I think a good time to play the Chicago though is definitely Saturday, tomorrow. I think I'm really excited about that.
It is. It's a fun game. I don't know if you can see this on your end right now, what I'm looking at, but the last 2 weeks, they've been bottom 10 in the league in offensive and defensive rating.
You will not be stunning me with that realization.
No, I don't anticipate that I will. But at the same time, the Nuggets are coming off a week where they played league average offense and league worst defense. They had a 122 defensive rating this week. Again, against 3 of the top 5 teams in the league. But for this game against Chicago, what are you thinking? Win-loss, and what do you think the score is going to be?
Well, it screams win. It just seems like a get-right spot, a game that Denver needs way more than Chicago. Chicago doesn't need to win another game the rest of the year. They'd probably be cool with losing the next 30 in a row. Not going to happen. But at the same time, you see that line there is at 4.5 for Denver. I'll take the points there. I'll say Denver wins that one. 127 to 119. 127,
119. Okay.
You're playing no center, like you just said. All the guards. I mean, Jokic is he might trip into 45, 15, and 15.
Gotcha. Yeah. First few games coming back. Small Chicago team.
Yeah. This is the game to kind of let him loose.
That is. Okay. So you're predicting an 8-point win where the Nuggets put up over 125. That's totally understandable. Mm-hmm. I think I'm also going to say this is a win.
It needs to be too.
It does need to be. We did lose to them earlier this year. Completely different Bulls team at this point.
Yeah.
At Chicago, historically, it's kind of been a challenge for us the last few years to play there.
It's a really cool place to play. I think it can easily overwhelm. I mean, it's not New York, but there are a ton of celebrities that go. It's a really big place. It gets loud. Somehow they have kind of like the Rockies, where they have tons of awesome fans for no reason at all.
Yes.
And that's a game you can easily lose. Got to make sure they guard the 3-point line with all the guards.
They do. And the Bulls still up there towards the top of the league in 3-point shooting percentage? They were like number 1 the first few weeks of the season.
Yeah, let me go take a look real quick while I'll have you put your prediction in while I'm doing that.
Yeah, so my prediction, here's the thing, right? They dropped 121 on the Pistons. That's a top 5 defense. They dropped 127 in double overtime, granted, on the Knicks, which is a top 5 defense. Playing a not top 5 defense, actually a bottom 7 defense at this point in the last few weeks. I think I'm going to say the Nuggets beat Chicago 131 to 113.
8th best team in the league in 3-point percentage. You know who's number 1?
We are.
The Nuggets.
Yeah, well, we're up there. We're number one.
A team that couldn't guard Toronto last night probably can't guard the Nuggets.
Probably not. Okay, that's
so
a good.
There's your hot take for the day.
Dude, I'm burning up with the heat of that.
Just like me. Yeah.
That's incredible. Okay, so you're predicting an 8-point win. I'm predicting an 18-point win. No, I did not pick that just because it's 10 points higher. It just ended up being that way.
I like it.
Yes. So, okay. Home against Cleveland. All right. Cleveland with Harden now.
Do we know he's playing?
This game will probably happen sometime early next week. He already got traded. Unless he was injured, I'd anticipate.
He did not play against the Clippers. I will tell you what. Cleveland looks like a different team with Schroeder and Ellis. I think that's
they did get those two too, didn't they?
They mashed the Clippers in LA.
Interesting.
So this is a game that is much, much harder than you might think on the surface.
No, this is a hard game. I mean, the last 2 weeks, they're top 3 in offense and defense.
And even if you look at the ESPN FBI, they only give Denver a slight edge of 51.1% to Cleveland 48.9%. And wow. That's kind of surprising, don't you think?
Yeah, I'm surprised Nuggets have the plus in that game. I'm going to give my prediction first this time. I think this is a loss at home. Nuggets are also not incredibly good at home. Best road team in the league. One of the worst home teams in the league. Strange enough. Yeah, this is going to probably be a 124-112 loss.
Okay.
Okay.
Not even that close, man.
No, it's not going to be close. You lost by 10 to the Thunder at home last Sunday. Mm-hmm. So I could see 12 to a hot Cleveland team. What about you? What's your prediction for this game?
So I totally see your logic. It's a team that's going to push it against Denver. However, they might have forgotten during the altitude. That actually won't go so well. So I will take the Nuggets taking down Chubby Harden. I'll say 121-117, but definitely a close game.
Wow. Okay, Nuggets win by 4.
Absolutely. This is in Cleveland. I think I give them about 0 chance to win this game.
Fair enough, bro. I mean, you do have the reality that the Nuggets almost beat Cleveland in Cleveland a few weeks ago.
Totally. Yeah.
And
that's a different Cleveland team, right?
Different Cleveland team, but different Nuggets team too. Very unhealthy at that point in the year. And so they still almost pulled it out without Jokic on the road. So it's possible. But I'm also thinking the Hornets were here a few Sundays ago. You might be thinking the Hornets. Who cares? Hornets are hot.
Oh, they're amazing.
When we lost,
why don't I tell you 8 in a row?
Yeah, they're insanely hot. And even back at that point in time, 2 weeks ago, they were top 5 in the league in offense and defense coming into Denver, and they destroyed us at home.
It feels like white guys are back have never been more real than Con Kennable. And Cooper Flagg, obviously, but like Con Kennable, at least like that's a guy I could see in a run on Saturday morning. Just does everything fundamentally right. Doing like 20 a game. Like, man,
he's hot.
What a special shooter.
Rookie of the year. Yeah, for sure. Candidate. Fair enough. All right. So that's our difference. I think we lose by 12 against Cleveland at home. You think we win by 4. Mm-hmm. On to Memphis. I think there's going to be a lot more agreement here with Memphis. Okay. Memphis actually close to top 10 offensive team over the last 2 weeks, believe it or not.
That would be with Ja Morant and JJJ.
Yeah, that's true. And even with them, they were a bottom 3 defense last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So prediction for this game. Last game before the All-Star break. How do you think we do?
Oh, man. Memphis? I think this is the game where it all clicks. A team that really Memphis is just limping to the finish line, trying to figure out what the rotation is. Back end with, I guess you start Santi Aldama instead of Triple J. Whew. I think Ja's still hurt. So I'm gonna give a really big win here. How about 134-103 Denver?
Wow. I
think this is the game where you get to unleash your bench. And yeah, man, I don't really see where the Grizzlies have a counter. They don't have a center that's going to be able to guard Jokic. They don't have guards that are going to be able to guard Murray. I think this is a game where you see every single guy on the bench play for Denver. All of them.
Minus Hunter Tyson now because he's gone.
You're trying to get me to say RIP. I'm sorry. I don't feel too bad for him. Every game I went to, he's just like, he's not, I mean, man.
You and my dad both, for what it's worth.
Your dad and I usually get along.
Yeah, you probably would. Yeah, especially with Chubby Harden and not being disappointed that Hunter Tyson's gone. You two would agree on a lot.
I can't believe you think that Harden's going to be able to handle the altitude.
He was just here with the Clippers a few games ago, last week.
Yeah, while he was had its personal reasons and had a few tacos.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I
wouldn't feel great about it.
This is fair, man. All right.
That's a good team, though. Don't get I want to say something real quick. I think Cleveland can actually end up in the NBA Finals.
Cleveland.
I do believe that. Feels like Tatum is maybe not even going to play now. There was so much momentum towards him playing. The Knicks, before they won 8 in a row, lost 9 of 11. Philly is probably too young, minus Embiid, who will get hurt. Toronto's not a championship team. And Detroit's never won a playoff series. I think there's an opportunity there for Cleveland. Remember, Cleveland gets murdered by the Knicks a few years ago, where Mitchell Robinson takes Jared Allen and Evan Mobley's lunch. They have never gotten redemption for that. And yeah, I think this Cleveland team might be real special with the defensive additions in the backcourt. And feels like there's just less chemistry issues. There clearly was something with Garland and Mitchell, and that's been fixed. So
interesting. Okay, so they get past the Knicks or the
I think
Pistons
they can
in round 2.
Yeah, I think they can.
Okay.
I wouldn't be shocked if they were a finals team this year.
Interesting. That's a take I could probably get behind, honestly. Like I said, East is weak. It's the weaker of the two.
It's the year to do it.
It is the year to do it. It really is.
Indy's going to be awesome next year. Boston's going to be better next year. Maybe Miami gets Giannis next year. Like
maybe
spooky year to play them.
You don't want to do that. All right. As for my Memphis pick, yeah, I'm also picking the Nuggets to beat Memphis, but I'm gonna pick a much more modest one.
Maybe a sleepwalk game into the All-Star break.
129-111. So yeah, high scoring for us because their defense is so bad. I'm gonna say I'm gonna bump that up to 117. Okay. I'm gonna bump it up 129-117 win against Memphis going into the All-Star break. I guess that's another 12-point win that I'm predicting. I guess these 12-point wins are just safe predictions for me. Didn't even realize that. Cool, bro. All right, we'll be back next week to see how the heck those go. The only difference we really have is that Cleveland game, so we'll be watching that Cleveland game kind of closely. But dude, it's now time to switch into my favorite segment of Hoops and Homers. Today's homering session is a full walkthrough. You get to be the very first person, I guess, besides my dad, who I told some of this stuff to at lunch on Thursday. You get to hear exactly why the predictions I made last week are going to be the case and how exactly that should come to fruition from my perspective. Okay. Don't know if you saw last week. And for anyone who might be watching this week who hasn't seen last week's episode, go ahead and check that out, because I made some very interesting predictions. Okay. Last week, I walked through the whole Colorado Rockies offseason. Okay. To sum it up for you shortly, 57 players played for the team in 2025. 30 of them are not returning in 2026. They're gone or they're still free agents and will not be a bad thing. Not a bad thing. And that's actually the other part of that equation. How familiar are you with the concept of WAR, wins above replacement?
Absolutely.
Okay. Of the 30 guys who are leaving the Rockies in 2026, they lost between those players who are not coming back -10 WAR.
In case people don't know it, that's a lot.
That's bad. Okay. For those who don't understand the concept of WAR, wins above replacement, it's the concept of 0 WAR being replacement level player play. Okay. So effectively the equivalent of a AAA baseball player. Not really a great MLB level player, but he can kind of hang.
If Chris is better than me, how many more wins does a team with Chris playing over me I would win than me playing over Chris?
That's the question we need the answer to in the comments. Drop an answer to that question below.
You might have to show up to a softball game. I'm rearing back for the spring.
Dude, the one time I did slow pitch softball, I got hurt so many times.
Oh, I said laugh. You can laugh at me from the stands.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, Sunday nights.
I'll be
ready.
There. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. -10 WAR on the way out. Okay. That's incredibly bad. And that's not coming back. At the same time, returning players, 7.4 WAR combined.
Not -7 WAR. 7. That's
7.
pretty good.
To be specific. Yeah. As far as the players they added who are on the 40-man roster and will probably suit up for the opening day team, they added 1.9 WAR. But the caveat there is that guys like Willie Castro, guys like Jake McCarthy, Edward Julien, in recent years, like as recently as 2024, 2023, were actually guys who individually produced 2.5, 3 WAR. And so that is 1.9 WAR added to this team, but it could very easily be 5.9 WAR if they play even up to somewhat of what they were even a year or two ago. And so all that said, the Rockies won 43 games in 2025. If you factor in these WAR shifts, I think you get a team that wins 66 games in 2026.
Less than 100 losses. Wow.
Less than 100 losses. And if you get what I said there with the extra little bit of Castro from 2024 when he was an all-star, McCarthy from 2024 when he was really good, hit 285, stole a lot of bases, that could be 70 wins in 2026. Really could be. If the team stays healthy. That's my one stipulation for both the Nuggets and the Rockies. They have to stay healthy. If they do that, it's a 66 to 70 win team. And so that's what I brought up last week. And so now this week, you're going to hear exactly who I think is going to be contributing to that incredibly insane prediction. Vegas has the Rockies at 52.5 wins for the over-under. Okay. So Vegas is not too high on the Rockies. I'm about
a lot more wins than last year.
It is a lot more wins than last year. I'm much higher than Vegas is on Colorado, and most Rockies fans for that matter. So here you go, my friend. You get to hear my walkthrough, and then I want to hear your perspective on some of this stuff. Okay. Let's talk about the 40-man roster and who I think is going to make the 26-man roster of the guys here. Starting rotation on the current 40-man roster, we have 7 options. The most likely combination is Kyle Freeland, Michael Lorenzen, Ryan Feltner, Tanner Gordon, Chase Dollander. Okay. You got McCade Brown and Gabriel Hughes as the 2 who are on the 40-man, probably going to start the year in AAA. Maybe not with Hughes. It depends on whether they want to use him as a long reliever or not. He has started potential coming off Tommy John 2 years ago. We'll see. He'll compete this spring for a spot, but I think the 5 I just listed will be the 5 starters in the rotation. Okay, that seems pretty reasonable.
You don't want to shout out my boy Antonio Senzatella?
Oh, my goodness. No, we're unfortunately going to get to Antonio Senzatella in a second because Warren Schaefer, our manager, said he's going to be coming out of the bullpen in 2026. So he will not be a starter. My bachelor party last year was the crazy game where they won 17-16, came back like several different times to win. He started that game. We showed up in the 4th inning and it was 12-4. I was like, oh, well, we picked the wrong game to come to today.
This isn't really a new development for Senzatella. It's been he is among the worst pitchers in baseball the last 3 years.
If not the worst.
Yeah, no, I told a friend when he let me get tickets that I think I could go out there and do a better job. And that's obviously not true. But the fact that is even being brought up is absurd.
Well, and so here's the thing. He was really good in 2018, right? Just one of his first few years in the league.
Do you know how long ago that was?
That was a long time ago. But, you look at some of the technical changes. I'm a super nerd when it comes to baseball, bro. I went to Baseball Savant. I watched 2025 Senzatella, 2018 Senzatella. His technique is not anywhere close to the same as it was in 2018.
Yeah.
And it's like completely his fault. He stands somewhere different on the rubber. He's more bent over. And so it might not necessarily be the case he's bad. It's just the case that our pitching coaching staff, which is now gone, was just so terrible, didn't realize that, or even recommended some of those changes.
Do you feel worse for Hunter Tyson leaving or for the Rockies pitching staff leaving? Hunter Tyson, I can tell you.
It's got to be Hunter
Tyson. I can tell you like him a lot more.
For sure, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. I mean, hopefully Senza bounces back. It's not going to be in the rotation. Okay. So those are my 5 in the rotation: Freeland, Lorenzen, Feltner, Gordon, Dollander. Okay. All right. In the bullpen, you're going to have 8 relievers. Okay. They're going to be Jimmy Herget, Victor Vodnik, Juan Mejia, Brennan Bernardino, Senzatella, our good boy, Jaden Hill, RJ Pettit, Rule 5 selection. He has to be on the 26-man roster unless we want to offer him back to Detroit. And he was a top 30 prospect for Detroit, whose roster we stole him off of. This
on a rebuilding team, it feels like it's all, but he's on the team.
He's on the team, yes. And he's huge. You know how big he is? He's 6'8", 300 pounds.
That's what I see that as well.
Yeah.
Rock Hill, South Carolina. He must have not missed a lot of meals out there.
He did not, dude. Man. He did not. And he's pretty good. We'll get to that a little bit later. But it'll be him, Jaden Hill, and then possibly, I think this is likely to be the case. You never know. Keegan Thompson was claimed off of waivers. And if you're claimed off of waivers, you have to pass through waivers if the team doesn't have you on the 26-man roster. He doesn't have any options left. And so as a long reliever, I think he probably sneaks in there just for the sake of the fact that he's been decent in recent years. Didn't pitch in the big leagues in 2025, but he was pretty solid 2024. He was not a bad starter in 2022. So maybe they try to wind him up to get him competing for a rotation spot. But those are my 8 relievers. Okay. That seems reasonable. We get to the catchers. Catchers are pretty set up, I think. You got Hunter Goodman. You got Braxton Fulford. Shout out to Braxton again. We interviewed him a few weeks ago. So I think he makes the big league team.
All-star Hunter Goodman. Let's treat him right.
All-star Hunter Goodman. Silver Slugger Hunter Goodman.
There you go. Now I'm seeing you just
there.
light up over there. Look at you. You look so excited.
I'm so excited. I can't wait to drop the info on you. We're getting there. Braxton will have some competition, though. We signed a few veteran catchers to compete with him for the backup spot in spring. They're both left-handed hitters, and that's what we need. So it'll be interesting. He's going to have to earn that backup spot out of spring training, but I think he will ultimately. I mean, how many catchers do you know who have 88th percentile speed in MLB? Because that's Braxton Fulford. Yeah. Maybe besides prime JT Realmuto, but that was prime JT.
Base stealing and speed are different, right? Like he was a smart base runner,
right.
But never lighten up the scoreboard. Sure.
Yeah, interesting. So those are my catchers. Reasonable. You're going to have Troy Johnston and Blaine Krim, probably platooning at first base. Johnston was signed off of waivers. He can also play corner outfield, which gives him a major advantage in making this roster, aside from the fact that he was claimed off waivers. They're both in a very similar position in their career. Late 20s, kind of cracked into the big leagues for the first time fully last year. And so they're going to be competing this spring to see who kind of takes the share of those, while some of our top first base prospects continue growing. To be fair, a guy like TJ Rumfield, who the Rockies traded for last week, dominated AAA for the Yankees.
Expect to see him
right,
soon.
He's right about that point where he could maybe win the job out of spring, and then you don't have to worry about first base being an issue. But I think it's just safe. And by the way, I'm rooting for that option. I like Rumfield a lot. Dug into him a little bit. I like the Johnston Krim platoon to start the year on the 26-man roster. Okay. Second base, Willie Castro, Edward Julien. Okay. I think Ritter and Amador both start the year in AAA. Look, Ryan Ritter, tons of offensive potential. He's super fast. But as he progressed throughout the season last year, his hitting really became so hampered to the point that he almost entirely became a soft hit guy. Like the only thing he really could consistently do is get like a soft hit base hit, and that was it. Not the type of player he is. Not at AAA, at least. He can hit home runs. And so I think he'll start the year at AAA to get back his swing and his confidence, and then maybe get called up when injuries happen. Amador is something similar. Amador is kind of young, still hasn't really put it together yet at the big league level, so I think he starts at AAA for that reason too. Castro, you signed to a major league contract. He's probably going to start at either second base or somewhere in the outfield. Don't see him starting at third. Hasn't really played there much in his career. And then Julien was traded for last week. So that's that left-handed bat that kind of gives you some versatility. Can also play first. So I think those are my 2 second basemen, all that said. Castro and Julien. Kyle Karros is my starting third baseman. Okay. He was a rookie last year. He'll be a rookie this year, I think, unless he broke the innings limit. Solid dude, man. He's the only third baseman on the 40-man roster. The only primary third baseman. And I interviewed him also. Solid perspective on this guy. Okay. He's got all the utmost confidence. He's a good learner. He has a dad who played at the big league level. So he knows how to make certain changes. So I fully expect him to not get the third base job just because he's the only third baseman on the roster. I think he'll actually earn it this spring. Obviously, Ezekiel Tovar will start at shortstop. Then you got the outfield. Okay. Brenton Doyle, Mickey Moniak, some combination of Jake McCarthy and Tyler Freeman, maybe platooning. One bat's left, one bat's right. Neither is an incredible defender. McCarthy's got better range. Freeman's got a better arm. And then you got Jordan Beck. So those are my 5 outfielders on the 26-man roster. So that is my prediction for the 26-man roster and the team that will win 66 to 70 games. Now, this is where I really want your perspective here, because we have some options with this next segment. You'll notice here, I got the Dodgers roster comparison. Now, what do I mean by that? Okay. Los Angeles Dodgers won the last 2 World Series. Okay. They're the pinnacle of what it looks like to succeed in MLB at this point in time. All right. That said, they barely won the World Series last year, but it's worth taking a look at what the World Series winning Dodgers lineup looked like. And not saying the Rockies lineup is anywhere close to that. Obviously, it's not. And actually, when you dig into the details, they're very different, even stylistically. But my friend, in digging through the way that lineup, at least in Game 7, the Game 7 lineup that they won the World Series with, was structured, I noticed some interesting trends. I noticed that obviously their best hitters are top 5 in the lineup, okay, by WAR. Okay. I also noticed that by average, they had a unique theme there where most of the guys in the top 5 had the highest average on the team. It makes sense, although they weren't necessarily structured 1 through 5 in terms of how high their average was overall. They had some staggering. I think leadoff was like second highest average, and then the best was second, something like that. You get the point. So WAR, average, chase rate was another theme I noticed based on the way that they structured their lineup. Another one I noticed was walk rate. And then the last one I noticed was fastball average against the fastball. Okay. So what I've done here is I've constructed 5 different potential Rockies starting lineups for opening day based on the guys I just listed. And I want us to see which of these 5 we like the most. All right. And I have my favorite. I'll let you know. I have my favorite. But rather than just doing what a lot of people do, which is like, oh, well, this guy hit here last year, so let's have him hit here this year, or something like, well, I really like this guy in this position in the lineup for this skill-based reason. He's fast or he hits for power. We're gonna take a look at the numbers, and we're gonna see which of these lineups we actually like the most. Okay. Some of them are a little bit ridiculous. But that said, let's dive right into it.
You know what's ridiculous is doing the same lineup that won 43 games. So change it up.
I see.
This is good.
I am kind of changing it up. But for the most part, also, a lot of the guys from last year, still young, second or third year. Even this year, a lot of them are in their second or third year. And you don't really see guys. You can't really make a judgment on a guy till his 4th year in the league. Okay. If you had made the judgment about Kyle Tucker, who just got paid by the Dodgers $60 million AAV, you would have made a very bad mistake. He got good year 4. He was terrible his first 3 years. And so for that reason, with these guys all kind of in the second or third, 4th year of their career, most of them, I'm giving this lineup this year and next year to show significant progress.
Yeah, sounds like you say Chris Bryant's going to be great in year 4.
Chris Bryant will be great when he finally gets released. Yeah. So
it's the worst part when I look at the roster. It's just sad.
It really is. And as a Cubs kind of familiar fan, you're probably used to seeing a very different Chris Bryant.
Hate Chris Bryant as an active Cardinals fan for my entire life.
You're a Cardinals fan, even though you grew up in Chicago?
Lived in Chicago. Grew up in St. Louis.
Oh, you grew up? I don't know why I thought that.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you're a Cardinals fan. Well, okay. That makes perfect sense.
Actively don't hate that Chris Bryant is deteriorating franchise. Wish it would be somebody else. I don't advertise my Cardinals fan status due to the Arenado trade.
Oh, yeah. Nice. That was phenomenal. And he won more playoff games with us ultimately than he ever won with you, which is the whole full circle moment now that he's on the Diamondbacks.
Chris is going to have to run when this podcast ends.
I have to run out of my own house.
I think so.
Okay, here's the Dodgers Game 7 lineup in their bench. Let's start with that. Okay, so they had Shohei Ohtani batting leadoff, Will Smith in the 2-hole, Freddie Freeman 3, Mookie Betts 4, Max Muncy 5, Teoscar Hernandez 6, Tommy Edman, Kike Hernandez, and Miguel Rojas. Andy Pajes was really good outfielder, but sucked in the playoffs, so they benched him for Game 7. All right, he came in as a defensive replacement, but that's the reason why he wasn't in there. All right. So, and actually I'm going to share this with the people now too, so they can take a look at what we're looking at. We're going to look at the very first lineup here. Okay. I'm actually going to hide these other ones so people don't get ahead of themselves. Whoa, look at this fancy. I didn't even do it.
You went the wrong way.
I know. Can you believe this? Can you believe I work with Excel spreadsheets for a living and can't hide a document? Okay, we're going to start with this one. Okay, this is the Rockies lineup with the position players I just listed that I think will make the 26-man roster. If we're mirroring the Dodgers lineup based on WAR, okay, so I looked at the trend for the Dodgers lineup. I identified based on team relativity which player was hitting in which spot in the lineup based on their WAR. Okay, so this is pretty much your best players are batting at the top of the lineup. Okay. And I'm using 2026 WAR projections to rank these guys. Obviously, Hunter Goodman had a better WAR last year than Ezekiel Tovar. But this year, upcoming, Ezekiel Tovar is predicted to have a better season than Hunter Goodman.
You mean -21 from Kike Hernandez isn't going to do it?
Yeah. Well, poor Kike. Kike's been around the Dodgers forever.
Yeah.
By the way, this rating is that team relativity thing that I just mentioned. So the higher this number is, the better relative to their team this player is. And so that's the interesting thing that I noted. As far as that's concerned, this is going to be the Rockies lineup if they mirrored the World Series Dodgers lineup by WAR. You have Tovar batting leadoff, Goodman batting in the 2-hole, Brenton Doyle, Willie Castro, Mickey Moniak, Jordan Beck, Kyle Karros, Troy Johnston, and Jake McCarthy. Okay. What do we feel about this lineup? Okay. And then you have a bench of Tyler Freeman, Braxton Fulford, Edward Julian, Blaine Crim.
Is somebody that would scream for Tyler Freeman to start on this team. That's probably my one nitpick. But really, it's a balanced lineup. I think the thing you might run into is a lack of power on this team. Wouldn't say there's a ton of power, but that's why you live in Colorado. But yeah, I mean, theoretically, it's always been about the new guys just taking a step forward. The reason they're bad last year are two things. They've had the worst pitching staff for a while, and the new guys that took steps in 2024 took steps back in 2025. Tovar, Doyle, forgetting that first baseman's name now from last year. He was awesome, and then he was just terrible last year.
Oh, Tolia.
Yeah.
He's not here anymore. He's one of the 30 that's gone.
Screams good.
Yeah.
Boy, was he bad.
Yeah, yeah. He actually made up for a fifth of that -10 WAR by himself. Can you believe that?
That was me coughing out all my Tolia thoughts. Sorry.
Exactly. Okay, so that's this lineup. All right, and you're right. There are some interesting aspects of it. Obviously, you have your best guys up top. Interesting thing to note here, the bench is actually better here with strikeouts. As far as whiffs go, this bench whiffs less. This bench walks significantly more. And the bench actually hits the ball in the air at about the same rate. And so if this is the lineup you have, you're going to be putting these guys on the bench into the game for pinch hitting situations, not necessarily for defense. With the Dodgers, it's the complete opposite. Okay, if you take a look at the Dodgers bench, it's a very clear pattern. All their best hitters, they're top heavy. They have their superstars, and their bench here really is better than the starting lineup in only arm strength, fielding, and speed. So those guys were coming in for defense. So philosophically, it's a little bit different for the Rockies, but this is what the Rockies opening day lineup would look like if they patterned the Dodgers World Series Game 7 lineup based on WAR. Okay. Let's take a look at another one, though. Because the second lineup I have here is the one that patterns based on, is it average, I think? Let's take a look. We're going to unhide. Unhide? Oh, can I unhide this? What is going on? Maybe I can. Maybe I can't. Let's see. I don't want sticky keys. I promise I do know how to operate a computer. We're just going to leave them unhidden, and then we're going to let people do with them as they please. But we're currently on this one, okay? We're on the opening day by average, okay? So if the Rockies mirrored the theme that the Dodgers World Series Game 7 lineup had by average, which player with which batting average was batting at which spot in the lineup, this is the lineup the Rockies would have. You'd have Mickey Moniak batting leadoff, Tyler Freeman batting second, Hunter Goodman, Jordan Beck, Brenton Doyle, Ezekiel Tovar, Willie Castro, Kyle Karros, and Troy Johnston. Okay. With
Shocker,
the bench.
it says average. It's very traditional.
Yes.
Yeah, totally.
Funny enough, actually. And that's very interesting, right? Maybe you would have guessed that. Maybe you wouldn't have. Then you have the bench with McCarthy, Fulford, Julian, and Krim. Okay. Do we like this lineup more than the first lineup?
Absolutely. I think that you have guys that are going to get on base, and you have guys that are going to come right out of home games, probably getting an out or two, ready to go at the plate. I think it doesn't put a ton of pressure on Tovar. And I think that same for Castro. This is a lineup that has a lot of balance.
Yeah, I agree. This is a very balanced lineup. And the emphasis here, the balance, between the starters and the bench is very similar to the first one, except for this time around, the bench is actually, the starters actually are better at strikeout. They strike out less. And that just comes from throwing Tyler Freeman in there. Tyler Freeman was 94th percentile in MLB in strikeout rate. He does not strike out. And so getting him in the starting lineup is what really turns that tide. Other than that, the bench is really only better in terms of speed, chase, whiff, walks, and hitting the fastball, actually, funny enough. Blaine Crim accounts for most of that. He hits 355 against fastballs in a small sample size at the end of last year.
Is that good?
That's incredible. Just a little bit, and people are so quick to get rid of him. I'm like, guys, 355, is that any good against fastballs? So you see the same theme. You're only going to put these bench guys really in at the end of games for not for fielding reasons, for pinch hitting reasons. Okay, you need someone who can work you a walk, someone who won't chase pitches out of the zone, who will have a competitive at bat, someone who can steal you a base. Okay, you got McCarthy, Fulford on this bench. That's really what you're going to put your bench in for later in games with this team. And that's actually kind of just the theme, regardless of who's in the starting lineup. But okay, that is the second lineup, right? You like that one more than the first one. Fair enough.
Absolutely.
I agree with you. Here's the third lineup. If we mirrored the Dodgers 2025 World Series team by chase rate, then what you have is a lineup that looks like this. Jordan Beck batting leadoff. Edouard Julien in the starting lineup at first base. Interesting. He's batting second in this lineup. Tovar, Freeman, Karros, Goodman, Castro, Moniak, Doyle with a bench of McCarthy, Fulford, Johnston, and Krim. Do we like this one more than the second one?
With Goodman being their best player, if he's hitting sixth, that probably means this is not going very well. And Doyle hitting ninth would be, oh, okay, he's not playing next year.
Right.
So I would say that there is some unique parts of this. I also think that if they're trying, or if I'm looking for the lineup that puts them on pace to winning 43 again, it is this lineup.
Yeah, you think so? Yeah, I
mean, it just screams that like things have gone wrong.
Right. I mean, having your best player bat in the 6 hole, a little bit unrealistic. Probably not ideal.
There's a world where their 4 best hitters are hitting 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah,
that would be bad.
That would be this lineup. Okay, interesting things you get with this bench. You get a bench that again is faster, actually the same speed, funny enough, as the starters on average. Still better at chase, still better at
feels
whip.
Like a playoff bench. I'll say this: I like the bench. Feels something where you jump in for defensive replacements pretty fast.
Yes.
With McCarthy, with Fulford. Krim is doing his little Scott Hatteberg impression to win the 21st game in a row from Moneyball.
He comes in. That could be a very similar type situation. Imagine he comes in late in the game, hits a pinch hit, walk-off home run off of a really good left.
Doesn't he seem like the most likely guy on the bench did a walk-off home run?
Oh, yeah. He has 355 on the fastball.
Yeah, I mean, literally, can't you wait for Edwin Diaz to think, oh, I got this guy.
Yeah.
Throws a 98-mile-an-hour sinker that doesn't sink, and he puts it at hits a beer bottle.
Yeah, it's possible for sure. So yeah.
So yeah, I don't want to seem so down on it. I had some harsh criticism at the start for that one.
It's really not the lineup that I like. Not more than the second one. Okay, so we agree. This chase lineup is a little bit weird. But wait till you get to the walk.
Oh my goodness.
This fourth lineup we have is if the Rockies mirrored the Dodgers by walk rate. Now, I will preface this by saying this is actually, while it looks funky, this is actually the theme that I think the Dodgers, if this is the way they thought about it, this is most clearly the theme that they patterned their lineup based on. Look at this. Look at the way they patterned their lineup, okay? Said Ohtani batting leadoff. Smith, Freeman, Betts, Muncy, Teoscar Hernandez, Edman, Kike Hernandez, Miguel Rojas. You know what the walk percentiles were for each of these guys? Okay. Your second highest, Ohtani, 97th percentile. Your
97th
percentile in walk. He gets a lot of walks. Understandable. Shohei Ohtani. Okay.
It's pretty good.
After that, you got Will Smith, who is the third highest in walk rate on the team. After him, you get Freddie Freeman, fourth highest walk rate on the team. After him, Mookie Betts, fifth highest walk rate on the team. Smack dab in the middle of the lineup, you get Muncy, the highest walk rate. on the team. Immediately after him, batting sixth, you get Teoscar Hernandez, Worst walk rate on the team. Then you start building up again. Second worst, third worst, fourth worst, and then the lineup turns over. So that if I've ever seen a clearer trend in the way a lineup was set up, it is that one.
So it sounds like you're telling me this lineup works the pitcher the most to start the game.
Yes. What I'm telling you is that
it better be it, because oh man,
if the Rockies really truly wanted to pattern their lineup off of the
Kansas City Royals of 2015.
Right. Sorry. Sure. Fair enough. As a Missouri guy, I guess you would appreciate that. Dude, if they really truly wanted to pattern their lineup off of the clearest theme in the World Series winning Dodgers lineup, this is what our lineup would be. Okay. Kyle Karros batting leadoff.
He's hitting 210 in this lineup.
Now, isn't this interesting though? He hit 226, I think, in the cup of coffee he had last year. Okay. But he had the second highest walk rate. He didn't qualify, but he walked a ton. Second highest on the team. Isn't that interesting? And so for the people who are like, well, Ryan Ritter should make the opening day lineup, then you move Castro to third or something to that effect. I'm like, no, absolutely not. Ryan Ritter has not demonstrated enough skills at the big league level besides his speed.
So you're going to scream for Karros no matter what needs to start the year.
He needs to be the starting third baseman for sure. He has to be. And it's not just that I'm biased because I interviewed him and he was my favorite player on the team after that interview. It's wholly because of the fact that he has all the potential in the world.
Yeah.
He's top on this team in walk rate. He plays plus defense at third. Those are two skills that neither Ritter or Amador, who are competing with him for a roster spot, have. And so just good looking third baseman. But in this lineup, he bats leadoff. Okay. That's a bit unrealistic. Then you have Tyler Freeman in the 2-hole. That's a little bit more understandable. Okay. He's batting 2-hole with the batting average mirroring team. Okay. Jordan Beck in the 3-hole happened last year. Then this is kind of where it gets a little bit crazy. Okay. Troy Johnston is batting cleanup. Willie Castro, Mickey Moniak, Ezekiel Tovar, Brenton Doyle, Hunter Goodman. Your best player in this lineup is batting in the 9-hole. And so this is a funky lineup, but I'm telling you, I'm not recommending this. This is not the lineup I like the most. I just think it's interesting that this is the one that the Dodgers had the most clearest theme throughout their lineup with. And if the Rockies were serious, this is what it looked like. This is what it
probably would work if any of them could hit for power outside of Doyle.
See, here's the thing, actually. I'm going to take a slight tangent because I actually think 2026, 2027, maybe in both, at least in one of those years, I think this team has a 200, 210 home run team with these guys. I really
that's
do.
the pathway to 60 at least.
Yeah, it is. Well, I mean, you look here.
You get lineup, 60 or 65 doing that, and then you just get top 20 pitching, and then you're a 70-win team.
Mm-hmm. And they have a top 15 bullpen, probably.
Well,
we'll get to that
after later. They all get traded at the moment. Sorry, pal. Ruin it for you.
We'll get there in a second. Okay. But, I mean, you could easily see Karros hitting 15 over the course of a full season. Freeman won't hit more than 5, probably only 3.
No, but there's a real scenario where it's him or Beck that lead the team in average.
Right, yes. Jordan Beck hits pretty solidly for average.
He was at 300 for half the year, I think, last year.
Yeah, he was at and he started so poorly, too. That's the thing.
I know. No, he's a good hitter.
I think he could also be a 20-25 home run guy. Hit 16 in not even a full season. Troy Johnston hit 4 in 40 games last year. You could see 10 out of him. Yeah.
You probably need that. He's playing first base.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah.
You could see 15 out of Castro, right? You could see 25 again out of Moniak. You could see 25 out of Tovar.
I think I'd be surprised with Moniak hitting 25, would you?
Well, he hit 24 last year.
Yeah.
And he didn't even get consistent time till back
I think that's a
good
point.
Yeah.
I feel like I see him more as a contact hitter, but the stats will prove me wrong. So maybe my eyes are getting old.
I mean, it's interesting. For most of his career, probably would have been the case that he was a contact guy, especially because he's
he's
fast.
Playing in the altitude now or something.
Yeah, it's like Coors Field kind of changed him just a little bit. But yeah, you could see him hitting 25. Tovar hit 24 in his first full season. Full season of Tovar healthy, he could hit 25.
It seems, I don't want to say likely because it was bad last year, but like
he was hurt last year.
It's not a hard pathway to see him get to 25, and same thing for Doyle, and same thing for well, Goodman might be like 17 or something like that.
I think Goodman hits 30 again.
Okay,
Goodman hits 30 again, and I think Doyle can get 20 to 25.
Not if he hits 9th.
But not if he hits ninth. Or he hits ninth and he gets more RBIs because he's hitting so many grand slams because everyone in front of him.
Yeah, 7 and 8. 7 and 8 are getting tough pitches instead of 1 and 2.
Oh man, that's so funny.
You really would have heard a high school varsity coach's brain with that lineup. No doubt about it.
That's a pretty painful one. Understandable. So yeah, okay, that's the fourth one. We like the average lineup still more than the walk rate lineup, obviously. And now the last one is the fastball lineup. All right. So patterning off of this Dodgers Game 7 lineup by fastball average against the fastball. Kyle Carroll's best leadoff. Again, funny enough, he had the highest. No, I don't know if he had the highest, but based on the way that the Dodgers lineup was patterned by fastball average, he would be batting leadoff.
This is almost the Schwarber theory, right? Where he hits there and doesn't really make sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, kind of. Except for, well, I guess Schwarber is probably pretty good at walking, right? Nonetheless.
Well, yeah. Well, not while he's fielding, walking at the plate. Yes, but
yes.
I would not call him, and I would never consider him a speed walking champion.
No, probably not. Even though he's lost a lot of weight in the last few years. At least
keep going.
Yeah. Well, Carroll's bats lead off. Jordan Beck 2-hole. Blaine Krim gets in, hit 355 against the fastball. Limited sample size. Hunter Goodman in the 4-hole. Mickey Moniak, Ezekiel Tovar, Brenton Doyle, Willie Castro, and Tyler Freeman rounding it out. Then bench of McCarthy, Fulford, Julian Johnston. Okay, so you got 3 lefties on the bench, only 2 lefties in the starting lineup. I'm going to guess we don't like this one as much as the average lineup.
I think I'm going to surprise you. This is my second favorite lineup. I think the one thing I would push back on is, again, some real power is lower in the lineup. This is kind of the rally lineup you see, like something where nothing's going on for 6-7 innings. You see 5 runs in the 8th. This is the lineup where that really makes sense with all the speed you have lower in the lineup, and then just a lot of good contact bats in here, theoretically. I think there's a world where, yeah, these guys are fun. This is the lineup where you have another 17-16.
For sure, bro. Because you have to hit the fastball if you're going to be a competitive offense in the big leagues.
Totally, but can't you see this lineup getting no hit for 5 innings?
Well, I mean,
I would hope not.
And so, well, here's the interesting thing. You look at that chase rate. The group in this starting lineup has a lower chase rate than the guys on the bench collectively. So technically, this lineup gives you a better chase to not end up in that position than maybe any of the other lineups. Well, no, I guess
you're facing a Skeens who's just throwing a bunch of fastballs at you.
Yeah, well, exactly. At 100 that have some tail on them. Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, so that's an interesting one for sure. The bench actually hits the breaking ball better with this lineup since you got all your fastball guys in the starting lineup.
I think this is a rally lineup in some ways.
Probably is. But what you're seeing is throughout all these lineups, the Rockies' fundamental identity, and they're already going to do plenty of mixing and matching. Their fundamental identity is going to be, all right, our best players are in the starting lineup. Everyone who's on the bench is really going to be coming in, not for defense, but for pinch hitting in pinch hit situations. Okay. So that's the theme that carries. But I think I agree with you. This is an interesting lineup. My second favorite lineup, that might actually be it. The first one, the WAR lineup, is a little bit too easy to say. Yeah, that's a good one because it just looks like a pretty standard Rockies lineup. But if I was to get a little bit creative, I think I would agree with you. This fastball one is up there as my second favorite, but still not better than the average one.
Yeah. I mean, what can I say? I think that you just see, even if you want to go to the casual viewer here, less green, more red.
Yeah, less green, more red.
That's my expert analysis. No, but I think that I just think you see the 7 best hitters hit set them 1 through 7. There's a screaming value to that, and yeah, I don't know. I just think that Karros in an ideal world evens out a little bit. His contact guy and fights there at the 8th. I think it's I think it's terrifying if they don't figure out first base for all these lineups. And I know that that's been a problem really for a while now. But Krim or Johnston have to be at least just a little below average. They have to be that for this team to put up a pulse against anybody outside their division.
Yeah, this is true. And I think they can be that. Obviously, I'm banking on that platoon being a combined 25 home run, 240 to 250 average between the two of them.
That's good enough to win games.
It's good enough to, at least until like a Charlie Condon is ready, or maybe a TJ Rumfield. Maybe one of the platoon gets hurt and you call up TJ Rumfield because he's destroying the PCL.
Yeah,
he already destroyed the league he played in last year. He'll rake in the PCL. And so
if Condon goes to third, you put Karros over at first. This might be the lineup that it might be a really deep lineup all of a sudden.
Who at third?
Condon
at third.
Mm-hmm.
Man, you like your college baseball? Is this why you're recommending this?
Okay, so as we're gonna go back here, some have heard of this behemoth named Jordan Walker that plays for the Cardinals.
Yes.
Literally looks like Goliath when he walks on the field. The worst defensive right fielder in the game for 3 years running. It's totally ruined his confidence playing in right, and doesn't even hit home runs. You know where his original position was, but was being blocked by Arenado?
Third base.
Third. Don't tell third baseman to play somewhere else. It's the general sense of things for me.
You're going to have to talk to a lot of people in the Rockies system because he has not played third at all in his professional career.
I am aware. I know that this is something that if there are comments, they will be directed towards me right now.
It's like Nolan Jones, right, from a few years ago. He was a good third base prospect, and then he got switched to a combo of corner outfield and first. It's the exact same thing with Condon.
Mm-hmm.
And you would also, I guess, come down on that as not being a good thing because you got to let the third baseman play third.
I also don't hate the outfield.
Yeah.
Like the outfield's probably the strength outside of maybe the corner, middle infield if Tovar just relaxes up at the plate. You just got to relax, bro.
Hey, take a guess. What percentile in the league do you think he was in chase rate? I have the number. You can take a guess.
60.
60. You think he was that high? Wow.
Wrong.
You're very wrong. He was third percentile in chase rate. Takes a lot of swings and a lot of misses at pitches outside the zone.
So I heard it backwards, and that's why. But I'm still too conservative. Okay.
Yeah, what about whiff rate? Whiff rate is swing and miss at pitches in the zone. He's third percentile in that. What do you think he is in whiff?
15.
Ooh, really close. 10.
Yeah.
10th percentile. Hey, what do you think Ohtani is?
Hey, do you think that's bad?
No, well. Yeah, right. Yeah. He's, again, 30
Ohtani actually swings and misses more than people think, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so whiff rate for Ohtani, not chase. He's actually pretty good in chase. He's 62nd percentile in chase. What do you think he is in whiff? Swings and misses at pitches in the zone, Ohtani.
30.
4.
That's insane.
4th percent. Tovar swings and misses at pitches in the zone less than Ohtani does.
Yeah, I don't see him throwing 105 and playing good defense. Sorry, Tovar's got to get back to playing. He actually played fine at short. I just think there's a lot more there for him, don't you?
Well, he's projected to actually be the best player
on the team. He won a gold glove his rookie year.
Second year,
excuse me.
He is projected to be the best player on this team in 2026, actually, by Fangraphs, by WAR.
I think it has to be him or Doyle, I think, for the team to grow.
Doyle's actually also predicted to be top 3.
It has to be those two.
And then Goodman as the third.
The sad thing about Goodman is that how many times have we seen a good Rockies catcher year, and then the next year it's not very good. Elias Diaz. I'm forgetting his name right now. Who's the Ionetta? Did this a lot.
Willeen Rosario.
Whew. Man.
Yeah. Okay. So fair enough. But okay, that is my lineup and bench comps. Let's take a look at this rotation real quick to round out today's episode. Because, I mean, Dodgers World Series rotation stacked. Right? Needless to say. Now, I threw Kershaw in here. Kershaw was technically moved to the bullpen, but he started 22 games in the regular season. Yeah. So this was their peak rotation. Okay, you had Yamamoto, you had Kershaw, you had Snell, Ohtani, Glasnow. Then in the bullpen,
too bad he's still mad the Cardinals beat him every time they played. Did you see his crying last year? That was really funny.
I did not.
Okay, sorry. That was just my needed input.
As the Cardinals fan that you are, you just had to insert.
Okay, real quick before you go to that, who wins more games, Cardinals or Rockies this year? Because I think you might be surprised by my answer.
I haven't. Well, it depends on whether you're using my projection or not. I think that the Cardinals, I know they got rid of a lot of people. Sonny Gray, Nolan. Have they added anything? Oh, Brendan Donovan. They traded him too. Yes. Yeah. No Goldschmidt.
Wilson Contreras is gone.
Wilson Contreras is gone. Wow. Dang. Well, look, the Rockies, beat the Cardinals, I think, in the season series last year.
Yeah, I went to a game they lost. It was
6-0. You go to that one?
I was that game. I actually left early at that game.
Yeah.
I've left early for a baseball game in my entire life until that one.
Rockies blanked the Cardinals last year and won the season series. So I'm going to say that your hot take is that the Cardinals win fewer games. Is that correct?
It is.
Wow.
It's the first time they've rebuilt since 99.
Wow. Impressive. Okay. That's an interesting take. I could probably get behind that.
They have literally not traded or acquired one good player and have gotten rid of all of theirs.
Well, I mean, if you think they're going to win fewer than 66 games, fair enough.
I think they scream about 64. Yeah.
64. Wow. So they'll be close. Fair enough. Okay. I got you, bro. How about, okay, let's take a look at this bullpen then too. Emmett Sheehan, Jack Dreyer, Justin Robleski, Edgardo Henriquez. Wow, dude. I don't know how much of him you watched last year. Dude throws gas. He's in 100th percentile in velocity. It was 101, 102.
Can I just say I miss Blake Trinan being good? Yeah. I know he played last year.
Yeah.
He was fun.
Yeah. I mean, you take a look at him relative to team performance last year. He was one of the.
You're awfully aggressive on RJ Pettit, huh?
Well, we'll get to that in a second.
I know you said you were previewing this like 50 minutes ago.
I was, yes. You got Will Klein, Anthony Bonda, who they actually released today. The Dodgers did. Then you got Trinan and Sasaki, who I don't know if he'll end up being what everyone thought he was going to be.
He probably gets more starts when somebody gets hurt.
Well, the issue is that he throws 2 pitches.
No, I know.
And as a starter, you can't do that. As a reliever, you can barely do that.
Don't they have the resources to just try it for 20 games?
They probably do. And they're probably still going to win the World Series if they do. So,
yep.
Fair enough.
And then a lockout will happen. We'll get to that another episode.
So we'll get to the lockout. Okay, but now you're going to take a look at my Rockies lineup here, okay? Kyle Freeland, Lorenzen, Feltner, Gordon, Dolander. Said that earlier. Herget, Vodnik, Mejia, Bernardino, Thompson, Senzatella, Pettit, Jaden Hill. Okay, obviously the first thing that stands out to you, RJ Pettit, wow, relative to team performance, he's the best pitcher, not only in the bullpen, but on the whole pitching staff. I took his AAA numbers. Those were the only numbers I had. And he's never pitched in the big leagues, so there are no projections. But in the AAA league that he pitched in, he dominated. He was like 90th, 80th percentile in every pitching category. And he just crushed. And so he has a good Coors Field pitch mix too, because that's always the thing you have to talk about when you're talking about pitchers and their success. He throws sinker, four-seam, slider, changeup, and he actually throws his fastball and slider almost 50-50.
Well, when you're 5'7", 150 and you're from Rogers, Arkansas, playing AAA, 6'8", 300 probably is pretty scary.
Yeah, well, fair enough.
It's an advantage.
It is.
Even though it's a bigger time skill level here, I think you'll see Pettit really succeed. I hope that they're not so dependent on him, but this doesn't scream like last year, right near the deadline, where every Rockies good Rockies bullpen guy got traded away.
I had zero issues with the guys they got rid of.
No, I'm just saying this screams a lot like that.
It certainly
for Pettit.
It certainly does. Maybe, like Jake Bird had an extremely good year last year. That's probably the closest comparison. He doesn't really comp well to Tyler Kinley, does RJ Pettit. That said, he's not going to be this good in all likelihood, but it's interesting that he has this type of potential, at least in AAA. And so someone to watch out for, RJ Pettit, in those 5th, 6th inning type of roles. It'll be very interesting to see. Another guy who stands out here is Chase Dolander. Okay,
I was going to him next.
Good.
It feels like they're going to give him a longer leash this year. I wouldn't be shocked if he's 3 or 4 in that rotation.
By the end of the year, probably. Well, and here's
I'm seeing even at the start. I think they're gonna. I think they're gonna scream. Just I don't know if that's the right decision, but doesn't he have the best theoretical stuff of those guys outside of Freeland?
Now he has ace stuff. He has ace potential.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is,
he's bad.
Well, now, and he was bad for this reason, not just because Coors Field, and because I think his current stuff, as constructed, isn't Coors Field friendly, and I've been saying that since 2023 when I had my own Rockies podcast. Okay, the issue with Dolander last year was a lot simpler than you might think. Okay, he throws 5 pitches, 3 of those are fastball shapes. Okay, it's four seam, it's cutter, it's sinker. Those are all fastballs. Then he threw a nice curveball. Curveball was actually really good, had a really good run value. He has a really good curveball, MLB ready curveball right now. And then he sprinkled in a changeup. You know what percentage of the time he threw his fastballs the combination of the fastball, four seam, cutter, sinker? What percentage of the time?
Like Lance Lynn numbers.
Which was what?
It's in the 80s, I think.
80s? Okay. 71%.
That's still too much for that's a lot.
You cannot succeed at the MLB level throwing a fastball shape nearly 3/4 of the time. You can't. And especially considering he has a plus curveball. The
guys are too good.
The primary change he just has to make is to throw his curveball more. That's it. And work on some technical stuff, obviously. I think personally, based on the way, if you take a look at his four-seam fastball shape, it has a natural sinker shape kind of to it. It's just a really bad four-seam shape. And so if they just converted him to a sinker grip, now he's got a plus sinker and a plus curveball. That is a combination that can make him, like you said, the third best pitcher in this rotation. It just can be. And so I think Chase Dollander has great opportunity to be really good this year with some tweaks to his mechanics and just not throwing his fastball like an ungodly amount of the time. And he'll be one of the best pitchers in this rotation.
Yeah, I think the more you use the cutter near the end of the count and the more you can use a fastball or a sinker to start counts, almost exclusively in that way, I think you're going to entertain more variety.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'd even back some people up with the curveball first two pitches. Also, it was.
He has to throw it to a three hole every time first pitch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he threw it pretty much almost exclusively, it felt like, in two strike counts. Obviously, it's a good swing and miss pitch, but you got to give some more variety. You can't be throwing.
As a friend of Uncle Charlie, 3-2 curveballs are kind of just tough to see.
Yeah.
You can't train your brain to hit those most of the time. It's really hard.
Yeah. So, I mean,
that can be an advantage.
That would be an absolute advantage, especially for a guy like Dollander. So I'm very high on Chase to make a lot of adjustments this year and be much better than this -8 relative rating shows him being. Another guy I think is kind of interesting in the bullpen now, if you take a look at it, is it's Jimmy Herget, because he had a career year last year, funny enough. As a guy who throws mostly breaking balls, he throws breaking ball 60% of the time at Coors Field and had the best year of his career, which is very interesting. Now, to be fair, the sweeper and the curveball he throws have good pitch shapes that work at Coors Field that aren't impacted by the altitude as much. And so for that reason, he was able to throw his sinker less. He used to throw his sinker a lot more when he was with the other teams that he wasn't good on. That sinker shape was a lot more affected by altitude, but he threw his breaking pitches a lot more, got some good success with that, had the best WAR on the team, and had almost a sub 2.5 ERA out of the bullpen. Do you think he'll be able to keep that up in 2026, or do you think there's going to be a significant regression?
I think it's going to be a need. You see a guy that comes out of the bullpen and work on the Rockies and has a 1.18 whip. You can do a whole lot worse than that. I think his fastball is going to be that much more important now. Where he places it, where he throws it, if he's added any velocity, because the book's kind of out on him now. So excited to see what he does. But as an early reliever, the guy that can keep him in the game, because it's the altitude, right? So if you're down 11-2, you throw him in there real fast and there's a rally, doesn't your first option have to be Herget?
And so now this is the interesting thing, because he was used in so many different roles on the team last year because they were so bad and they needed so much.
I think he starts a 7th inning guy, ideally.
I think he starts as the 8th inning guy.
Okay.
And so I kind of agree with you. Later inning kind of guy. He was used in long relief roles at points last year. I don't really think that's where his value is, especially since you have Keegan Thompson and Antonio Senzatella holding down that 2 or 3 inning relief. Even though they're both really
we got all the way around to you defending Antonio Senzatella.
I mean, even though they're both really bad, you can see that with the rating here. I mean, relative to the rest of the team, these guys are not good. And I don't think either of them honestly should.
I'll tell you what, I actually think Keegan Thompson, a lot of potential there. I believe that.
Now, well, I took a look at his pitch shapes, his stuff. I don't think it'll play well at Coors Field, quite honestly. Curveball is very drop heavy. Pitches that are drop heavy don't work as well as pitches that are break heavy. There's a technical difference there. Break is more
you're a tennis guy, ball holds up a little bit more out here.
Yes, it does. And so especially for pitchers who have a lot of that 12-6 or 6-12 movement, if you're thinking fastball and curveball. And so that's who he is. I don't really think he'll be a very good pitcher here. And so I don't really want him on the team, although I think he has a good chance to be. But aside from those two, all that to say, I don't see a need for her get in the long relief role. You have both of them here. And at the end of the year, he was good in the 7th, 8th inning relief role that the Rockies put him in. So I agree with you. I think he should be there to start the year. Yeah. So I think those are my pitchers. I think this is the order of my rotation. I like the order of that rotation. And I think as far as the bullpen goes, I think your 3rd through 5th inning guys will be Senzatella and Thompson. Your 6th inning guys will be Pettit and Hill. Your 7th inning guys will be Juan Mejia, Brendan Bernardino. Underrated season, by the way, last year. Juan Mejia absolutely tore it up with 2 pitches. Those will be your 7th inning guys. Your 8th inning guy will be Herget. Your lockdown guy will be Victor Vodnik, the supervillain, as I guess he's nicknamed now.
Well, he easily has the best last name on the team.
Oh yeah, the best initials, B squared. Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
That's pretty dope. So all in all, I'm really happy with the Rockies pitching staff. I think if you're going to look at that rotation just really quickly, aside from Dolander, I think Freeland really has to throw his breaking ball more. I mean, I think a guy you saw have success with low velo that Freeland has for the Dodgers, if you were to look over at that team, is Clayton Kershaw. At that point in his career last year, he was 2nd percentile in velocity. And then he had a 2.5 WAR because he threw his breaking ball 59% of the time. Okay. And with that, he generated good barrel rate, didn't give up hard contact, got good ground balls, didn't get a ton of strikeouts anymore. But Freeland's never been a strikeout guy. And so what you're really seeing here with Freeland is that if he throws his curveball, which is actually his best pitch, he has a 180 batting average against on his curveball.
It's an awesome curveball.
It's an awesome curveball. It's a knuckle curve. So again, that shape is not, it's one of those shapes that can succeed at Coors Field.
Can he do knuckle curve more than knuckle into somebody's face?
You're talking about Rafael Devers.
Leave it alone.
Hopefully we don't get into any more fracases with the Giants as the team that we are.
He certainly has a temper issue.
I mean,
it could be pitching for a team that's never good at pitching.
Yeah, this is true. Hopefully the answer to your question is yes. But
he has all the potential in the world. We've gone over it before. Freeland has all-star potential. He's got to play.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was 4th in Cy Young voting 7 years ago.
How amazing is that for a Colorado pitcher?
Yeah, it was great. He had a great year, and then he had a really bad 2019, and then they changed a ton of stuff with his technique. And similar to Senzatella, his 2025 technique is just not anywhere near resemblant of his peak technique.
Wait, I forgot. Did you miss the Colorado pitching staff when they were leaving? Did you say bye to them? Did you drive them to the airport?
Well, the ones that are leaving, yes. I did take them to the airport. I don't miss.
You had no problem just getting them there in plenty of time.
Yeah, no problem. Don't miss Herman Marquez. Don't miss Austin Gomber. Don't miss Bradley Blaylock. So
I liked Austin Gomber. He was a great 6th starter. Too bad there's only 5 starters on most teams.
Yeah. I mean, you probably don't want a guy who's like 0-7 with like a 6 ERA.
You mean he doesn't throw hard or have a good curveball?
Yeah.
I watched it. It
was bad.
Yeah.
Bad. And you guys gave him. He was the major piece in the Nolan Arenado trade.
I was thrilled.
Dude. Terrible.
He actually wasn't that bad in St. Louis. Much worse in Colorado.
Yeah.
Shocker.
So, all right, interesting. That said, Freeland, if he throws his curveball more, I think he could be a lot more successful. That's his best pitch. I actually, at Rockies Fest, I went to Rockies Fest 2 weeks ago. Alon Leichman, new pitching coach, actually explicitly mentioned, unprompted, in the Q&A section with the Rockies' new pitching coaching staff, Kyle Freeland's curveball. And so that's actually interesting that that's a line of thinking that they might pursue, is him throwing it more. 60% of the time, maybe not, but
they already have to. He's already been hurt. You know what the heck?
Yeah. So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how he manages that. But, I mean, my friend, that is my Rockies 2026 preview with that Dodgers roster comp. And so, all in all, obviously, you take a look at those 2 lineups like we did. Rockies are nowhere near as good as the Dodgers are. Okay. They do have a better bench, though, actually. If you were to take a look at the WAR of those 2 benches, Rockies have the better bench. And arguably the more diversely skilled bench. Okay. Dodgers bench is only good at defense. Rockies bench has speed. Rockies bench has fastball hitting ability. Rockies bench has low chase ability, high walk ability with a guy like Julien.
And 7 good starters.
Yes. And you have at least seven good starters, right? And then some unproven guys like Karros potentially. And then the platoon at first base, which we're still yet to see. And so all in all, that is the reason why I think the Rockies can win 66 to 70 games in 2026. Are you convinced, based on all the walkthrough I just did, are you convinced the Rockies can break the 100-loss barrier and maybe even get 70 wins?
I think the only thing that you're still holding me back on, I don't know if I see all those home runs. I think I see a decline from the guys that were good, and I think I see an improvement from a Doyle and a Tovar and all those guys. But if they hit for power, like you said, it's absolutely going to happen.
Hopefully. I hope so. What I really just hope is that they can come close to hitting that and just steal a lot more bases. So I'd rather they almost steal more bases and get runners in scoring position a lot more, put some pressure on pitchers and defenses more, then hit 210 home runs. But if they could do both or get close to 210.
One of those last lineups you had, doesn't that scream speed lineup? Like I told you, it was a rally lineup. But don't you think you wouldn't be shocked if that was the lineup the first game outside of the All-Star break, right?
It depends on which one it is, I guess. My average lineup?
The fourth or fifth one.
Oh, the fourth and fifth one both have Kyle Karros batting leadoff.
I think they tried something new, maybe post All-Star break, something like that.
That'd be so funny, bro.
I don't think that's the lineup they start with.
No, I think honestly, the lineup they should and are almost probably pretty likely to start with is that average lineup that you and I both like.
Yeah.
The Moniak, Freeman, Goodman, Beck, Doyle, Tovar, Castro, Karros, Johnston lineup. That's a good lineup. I like that lineup.
Yeah.
That's a 66 to 70 win lineup.
Charlie Condit at third base.
Charlie Condit at third base. That's the narrative we're watching.
No, it's not. But I had to throw you off at some point.
That's so funny, bro. All in all, I do think this team can be competitive by 2028. That's another thing I've been saying the last few years. And by competitive, I mean pushing 85 to 90 wins.
Okay.
By 2028, that's 3 seasons, 26, 27, 28. I've been saying that since 2023, 2024 also. That they're right at that stage in time where, like I said earlier, you've got your young core. You've got your Tovar, your Doyle, your Goodman, your Beck. They're all in year 2 or 3 or almost 4. This year, next year are the years where they actually have to start putting up some high 3s, low 4 WAR. If they do that, this is an 85-90 win team.
They never win more than 75 games if they don't fix the rotation, though.
Well, you also got some high-quality pitching prospects coming up with Dollander taking those steps probably. You still got Feltner. Tanner Gordon, we didn't really talk much about him today. He won the most games of all starters for the Rockies in 2025. 6. And he was up and down 3 different times.
Do you think he has repeatable stuff?
What he has a 4-seam changeup slider. I think to get success out of that, he needs to throw his. I actually noted this. He needs to throw his 4-seam about 45% of the time, and then he needs to throw his off speed 30% of the time, and then his breaking ball the rest of the time. If he does that, he could probably be a mid-4s quality starter who wins you about 8 or 9 games in a season. And so high quality stuff there from Gordon. And then you got guys like Sean Sullivan, who got an invite to spring training. He'll be on the radar the next year or two. Hard to hit. He's got a funky angle and he's tall. You've got guys like Brody Brecht who are a few years out. And so you've got potential in some of the arms coming up over the next few years. And so for that reason, I think there are some homegrown options who could actually take over and make this rotation good enough to be competitive if the offense takes the steps forward that they need to.
Well, that's a lot more believable with the offense.
Yeah, for sure, bro. So, yeah, those are our thoughts, bro. That was a solid first episode with
over an hour and a half.
Over an hour and a half. Yes, and so at this point, we're going to take a look at some of these comments. It looks like the only comments in here are from this one person who also happens to be my dad. But, let's see what my dad is saying.
What's up?
He's in here. Okay. First thought. He says the regulars are here and listening. Yes. Love to see that the fam is popping in. Okay. His first thought. Peyton Watson better than Cam Johnson.
That's not even debatable.
That's not debatable. Okay. We agree.
Peyton Watson going to shoot 42%, then Johnson is no use.
No use at all.
Yeah.
Okay. Agreed. Lone had a similar team, but David Adelman is getting more done with much less. This is
Much less in the starting rotation. I would say much more on the bench.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Well, because the starting lineup has been hurt. So for that reason, yes, I would agree with that take.
The Pickett has no handles. This is interesting because he's so herky-jerky. So I understand this take.
Pickett has no handles. This is very true. He almost looks like a football player, just like dribbling and like backing down people in every situation.
And yeah, no Holmes. Shock. I think you and your father on the same.
No Holmes. Seen enough already. Oh well, for this year we've seen enough. He'll be good. Need to trade Holmes is wild.
This is Spencer's the man. He likes the shot. All right.
He likes.
I might need to see his jump shot. Yeah.
He was actually pretty solid, man, back in the day. So
got to be better than yours.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure. He was much better. Much better. But you get to experience one of those two. And so all you know is that mine is better. I saw those eyebrows, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We're
Bruce
refraining
Brown
today.
Bruce Brown.
Yeah, the one we said he wasn't really dunking the same. He had a down the lane dunk. Good for him.
I didn't make the highlight reel, unfortunately.
So he's in the same spot as you are.
He's with
that
me.
Cleveland game is really hard.
I can't believe you picked Cleveland to win.
You mean the Nuggets to win?
Sorry. I can't believe you picked the Nuggets to beat Cleveland.
It's in here.
It's pretty crazy. Okay.
I don't even. I mean, I want to see another meme of Harden wearing the oversized jacket and warm-ups.
That's beautiful, isn't it?
It's pretty good.
That's so sweet.
Makes me feel skinny.
You are a big dude. You're hard to guard. I'm not gonna lie. So fair enough.
Yeah, I gave you a few.
Just a few. Just a few. I got lucky the last time we played. Yeah. So you think?
I didn't say that. They were all open threes.
We're all open threes. This is fair. Yeah, I was left alone.
I don't think you had a guarded three.
You should have treated me more like Deron Holmes, man, from three. It's the only thing I can knock down.
I think that might send your father into a coma. Compare yourself to Deron Holmes one more time.
Yeah, right. Okay, and his last comment looks like the Rockies went nuclear with the war over the offseason. Yes, they did. I mean, that's a net. What is -10 plus
7-9 and 1-3, right?
What's the difference between -10 and 7.4?
17.4. That's pretty good.
It's a massive change.
That means that means it's just based off of the numbers, but that's 60 wins right there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, those wars like the most comprehensive stat news for a guy.
Plus the guys they had, I think you said 1.3 was what it was
1.9 with the potential to be 5.9. So you got some flexibility.
19.3 gets you to 62 or 63 right there.
Yeah, 66.
No, I'm saying right there, that's 62. So like I think that you
right there, that's 62. Yeah, plus I guess
just
the returning
right there.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah,
not a big ask.
Yeah, it's not. And so this is why all the Rockies fans, like I was scrolling through the Rockies post that they made recently about spring training starting next week. It's just all these Rockies fans so pouty about 2026 upcoming. I'm like, you have not looked at the numbers, bro. You don't know what happened this offseason. It's not a team
thing. It's a Dick Monfort thing.
It is. It's been an ownership thing. But he's relinquished some of that control this offseason, hiring
theoretically
hiring a new executive staff, getting out of the baseball operations at a minimum. That's a very good thing. Mm-hmm. So you might say, yeah, you got fewer resources to work with, but you're making the decisions. That's a win. And you see what some of the decisions that are being made look like. I mean, that's a massive change. People don't realize how massive of a change that is. That is a significant change in wins.
On our next pod, Chris predicts the Rockies to make the postseason in 2027. Obviously.
2028.
Right.
We'll see, bro. We'll see. All righty. Thank you all for listening to this episode, though. We hope you enjoyed the first co-pod. There will be many more to come.
This is exciting. I think you'll get a little more of my voice next time. And
yeah, hopefully
excited.
So. Love that. And we'll be right here for it again. So you already know the deal. If you're not subscribed, subscribe, share, go listen to these episodes back if you haven't already. Some of the last few are pretty good.
You're looking big, dude.
Well, I had to, after we played the last time, I knew I had to get back in the gym, And so I'm completely kidding. But yeah, maybe next time you'll even see Garrett and I 1v1.
I'm okay with this being the next game being recorded. I just said that's how much focus I'll put in the next game.
That is the next podcast, obviously. Yeah. All righty. We'll see you guys next Friday evening. Till then, take care and peace out.